Picture this. You're doing push-ups, crushing your first few reps, but somewhere around rep 12, your muscles basically throw in the towel and say, "Nah, we're done here." What's going on? Are your muscles just being dramatic, or is there actual science behind this betrayal? Most people blame lactic acid or running out of energy. But here's the plot twist. These factors alone don't actually account for muscle fatigue. There's another sneaky culprit, and it's all about your muscles' ability to respond to signals from your brain. Think of it like your brain trying to text your muscles, but the signal keeps getting weaker. Your brain sends signals to your muscles in fractions of a second through cells called motor neurons. The motor neuron and muscle cell don't actually touch, they're separated by a tiny gap. On one side, the motor neuron is loaded with a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine. On the other side, your muscle cell has charged particles called ions, potassium chilling inside, sodium partying outside. Unlike you last weekend, these ions actually know when to stop partying and get back to work. When your brain decides it's time to flex, the motor neuron releases acetylcholine, telling the muscle cell membrane to open its doors. Sodium rushes in, potassium flows out, creating an action potential. Fancy talk for electrical signal that tells your muscle to do something. This signal spreads through the muscle cell like gossip in a small town, stimulating the release of stored calcium. This calcium flood makes your muscle contract by letting proteins lock together and pull toward each other. The energy comes from ATP, which also cleans up afterward by pumping ions back where they belong. Here's what happens. Every contraction, ATP gets used up, lactate gets generated, and those ions start drifting away from the muscle cell membrane. You'd think the problem would be running out of ATP, right? Wrong. Even when your muscles are destroyed, they're still cranking out more ATP like little energy factories. And that lactate everyone loves to blame. Plot twist. It's actually not waste at all. Lactate is an anaerobic fuel source your body uses for energy. Less athletic people use it less efficiently, so more builds up, which led early scientists to think it was waste. Fit people burn through lactate more efficiently as fuel. So, what's the real villain? After repeated contractions, there just aren't enough potassium, sodium, or calcium ions around the muscle cell membrane to reset the system. Even if your brain sends the signal, your muscle cell can't generate the action potential needed to contract. Your muscles didn't run out of fuel. They lost their ability to receive instructions. Kind of like you when someone tries to explain proper form. But here's the thing. If you want your muscles to actually get better at this whole ion management game, you need to train them consistently. And that's where jump rope comes in clutch. Pairs perfectly with calisthenics routines or whatever strength routine you have. I've been using cross rope because it's basically ion depletion training without the joint destruction. Light rope trains your fast twitch fibers to be more efficient. Heavy rope makes your slow twitch fibers work harder. Basically, you're teaching your muscle cells to be less dramatic about running out of juice. Plus, if you live in a shoebox apartment, their ropeless version won't destroy your ceiling fan. Link below. Those depleted ions aren't gone forever. Your body has plenty floating around elsewhere. They just need time to get back to where the action is. But sure, blame it on not drinking enough pre-workout or whatever you tell yourself. This is why rest works. When you pause between reps, ions flow back and fatigue fades. The more regularly you exercise, the longer it takes for ion depletion to happen. Stronger people need fewer nerve signal cycles to do the same movement. Fewer cycles means slower depletion, so you can keep going longer. Plus, bigger muscles come with bigger ATP stores and better waste management. So next time someone drops that motivational quote at the gym, and hey, now you know that pain is just weakness, leaving the body is technically wrong. It's actually just ions leaving the building. But that doesn't sound nearly as motivational. Speaking of motivational quotes, here's one that's actually true. You don't need it until you try it. That's cross-rop for me. 60 days to prove me wrong, but spoiler alert, you won't want to go back to whatever you were doing before. Use code GRABGEAR for 15% off, because apparently I can get you a better deal than motivational quotes can get you results. It's music. Now let's zoom out for a second. Because this ion problem isn't just about push-ups. It's happening in literally every movement you do. Squats, pull-ups, running, even holding a plank while questioning your life choices. Anytime your muscles fire repeatedly, those ions start migrating like they're trying to escape a bad party. And once they drift too far from the muscle membrane, communication breaks down. Not because your brain quit, not because you're weak, but because the message can't get delivered. This is called peripheral fatigue, and it's different from central fatigue, where your brain basically taps out and says, yeah, we're done. Peripheral fatigue is more like your brain is yelling commands through a megaphone, but your muscles are wearing noise-canceling headphones. The signal is there, the muscle just can't hear it anymore. And this is why you'll sometimes feel strong again after just 10 or 15 seconds of rest. You didn't magically regenerate muscle. You didn't suddenly grow more ATP. You just gave those ions enough time to move back where they belong so the system could reboot. It's like unplugging a frozen computer and plugging it back in. Same hardware. Now it works. This also explains why tempo, rest periods, and volume matter more than people think. When you rush reps non-stop without rest, you're draining that ion balance faster than your body can recover it. On the flip side, when you train intelligently, controlled reps, strategic rest, and consistent eat. Exposure. Your muscles adapt by improving ion transport efficiency. Translation, they learn to keep their act together longer. Your body does this by increasing the number and efficiency of ion pumps in the muscle cell membrane. These pumps are powered by ATP, and their entire job is to shove sodium, potassium, and calcium back where they belong. More pumps, faster pumps, less chaos, less fatigue. This is also why beginners gas out so fast. It's not just weaker muscles, their neuromuscular system is inefficient. They need more nerve signals to produce the same force, which means more ion movement per rep. More movement equals faster depletion. Stronger, more trained individuals can produce the same force with fewer signals, fewer ion shifts, and less fatigue. Efficiency beats effort every time. And no, supplements don't fix this. Electrolytes help hydration and overall nerve function, but they don't magically teleport ions back to the muscle membrane mid-set. Caffeine might help you push through central fatigue, but it doesn't change the physics of ion diffusion. You can hype yourself up all you want. Biology still runs the show. That's why conditioning matters. And not the boring, soul-crushing kind. The kind that challenges your muscles to fire repeatedly without pounding your joints into dust. That's where jump rope shines, especially when you use different loads. Light ropes demand speed, coordination, and rapid firing. Heavy ropes demand sustained tension and endurance. Both force your muscles to manage ions under stress, which is exactly the adaptation you want. It's also why jump rope carries over so well to calisthenics. Better rhythm, better timing, better endurance. Your nervous system gets sharper, your muscles communicate better, and suddenly Rep 12 doesn't feel like a betrayal anymore. It feels manageable, still uncomfortable, just not catastrophic. And let's be honest, most people quit reps not because their muscles are truly done, but because the signal gets sloppy, form breaks down, timing gets weird, the movement feels harder than it technically should. That's ion fatigue showing up as coordination loss. The body is protecting itself by saying, hey, let's not continue this nonsense. Train long enough, and you'll notice something interesting. The burn still shows up, but it takes longer. Your recovery between sets gets faster. Your ability to repeat high-quality reps improves. That's not motivation, that's physiology adapting. So the next time you fail a set, don't tell yourself you're weak. Tell yourself your ions clocked out early. Then train in a way that convinces them to stay longer next time. Because muscles aren't dramatic, they're just following rules. And once you understand those rules, fatigue stops being mysterious. It becomes manageable. And yeah, pain isn't weakness leaving the body, it's just chemistry changing addresses. Not as catchy, but a lot more accurate. And once you understand this, training stops feeling random. You stop chasing failure for the sake of suffering and start chasing adaptation. You realize that burning out every set isn't some badge of honor. It's just speeding up ion chaos without giving your system a reason to improve. Smart fatigue builds capacity. Dumb fatigue just builds excuses. This is why consistency beats intensity. A muscle that regularly manages ion shifts gets better at it. A muscle that only gets annihilated once a week just gets sore. One adapts, the other complains. Your nervous system loves repetition. It thrives on predictable stress and hates surprise punishment. So if progress ever feels stuck, don't ask if you're working hard enough. Ask if you're training your muscles to communicate better. Because strength isn't just about force, it's about signal clarity. And when that signal stays clean, reps stop disappearing at 12 and start pushing way past where you thought your limit was.